Howdy do, friends and gamers, Blarg and Flarg here, and today I'm making a video to show you a comprehensive setup for both your Viper smoke walls and smoke orbs on both offense and defense for the Haven site. I'm also going to throw in some little snakebite and poison Molotov locations just for your enjoyment. Now, remember, this is just a tutorial for where to throw your E and your Q on Viper and how to attack and defend sites. If you're looking for ultimate locations, check out this video right up here. Other than that, if you enjoy what I do and enjoy this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel, and then head on over to my Twitter to see any updates on my status, the gaming world, and anything going on in Valorant. And don't forget to follow my Twitch channel as well. I stream every Tuesday and Saturday night, roughly around 8 p.m. PST to 4 a.m. PST. Thank you all for joining me, and let's get started. What's up, guys? The first spot that we're going to defend is A site on Haven. I'm going to show you a comprehensive setup here on where I believe the best spots for both your smoke grenade and your smoke wall are, along with your poison patch, or I guess you could just call it a Molotov. These smoke grenades and smoke walls are meant to do two things. They're meant to, one, give you a good setup to take an advantaged fight against any enemy that is pushing onto the site, and help your teammates take an advantaged fight as well in case you're not the one directly there. And then two, they are meant to delay the enemy if you know that the enemy is coming towards this site. That way you can have reinforcements come to help out and defend. First things first, you need to throw down your E or your poison wall. And when you're throwing this ability down, I'm assuming that you have a second teammate here defending from roughly around the heaven or below heaven area, helping you out for a long. I want you to go across from this corner, very close to this corner of the box. And as you can see on my mini map, I'll move it over. We're going to go along the line here, and you want it to cover basically right to this corner here, and it's going to come out of the corner and go across a long into the wall. The purpose of it hitting that wall about halfway through is so that you have a great advantage defending from the site or from heaven. Let me show you what I mean. So first things first, when you pop this smoke, you can see it's going to cover all the way across here. So anybody that does make it through A short, you can pop up your screen here and they can't see onto the site and are going to be hesitant to push through this without taking extra casualties. That's going to give you time to prepare for them and get extra teammates on their way over. Now, the real kicker for this toxic screen is when you're actually having a teammate watching from heaven or similarly from the site below heaven area. While they're watching down this line of sight, they will see that with the screen up, any enemy that's going to be peeking this area will be coming out into their sight line from being blinded. On top of that, they cannot get to the cubby along the left side of the screen without being seen from heaven. And they cannot hide on the right side without being noticed by your player in heaven or on the site either. So it really takes a lot of space away from the attackers. Next up is your poison orb. If you're defending the long push, I want you to place your poison orb on the 5th step down from the site. Right here on this line. Slap. Now, keep in mind, you can place this orb before the round starts. Super helpful information. When you have this orb emitting, it is going to be just pushing past the wall here into the site just a tiny little bit. This gives you a great headshot angle on anybody coming into the site with the exact same idea in mind. While defending the short angle, you want to place your smoke in a way that it's going to give you the best advantage. My suggestion is to put it right in the middle of this little hay tie here in the center of the hallway. This is going to do the exact same thing that it did in long, where it, when emitting, gives you an advantage so that they have to show their heads and give you a good shot on them before they can see you, while also not letting them hide right behind the smoke because they would be stuck in the hallway with no cover. And lastly, while remembering that there is a default plant location where the majority of players are going to plant the bomb, know that while you're on the rotation or playing a safe side closer towards the CT spawn, you can throw your snakebite venom and stop plants pretty easily by bouncing them off of different angles. You could do this both from the CT spawn area and from heaven, of course. From here, you just look right at this corner near the top and shoot it out. It's going to bounce off that wall, and it's not perfect because it's a little bit off to the side, but there's not a really safe way of doing that without moving all the way over to this angle here, which then puts you in danger. And of course, like I said, you can always shoot the snakebite from heaven as well by looking about halfway up through the second box. Keep your aim on the line, pretty much anywhere along this box, and it's going to work out fine for you. So while defending the B site on Haven, you want to use your smoke grenade right outside the door here. Just out probably about that far. And you see here, it's going to emit just into the front of the doorway here, so that anybody that is peeking in, you'll be able to see their gun barrel and everything else like I've told you before, and you've seen in all my other videos, and have an advantage on them because you're going to get them before they get to you. The reason I want you to throw your poison orb out here and not your wall is because the wall is going to give you a feeling of security that just doesn't exist. You can throw it down the line to the right here to solo out just the window and allow you to cover this whole area without them being able to see in. Or you could throw it to the left and cover pretty much the exact same thing, but both of these have some pretty fatal flaws to them. Of course, when you throw it to the left here, it allows enemies to get into the cubby without you noticing. And when you throw it to the right, it's going to allow enemies to sneak all the way up around this corner, which is a very unforgiving position to have an enemy in when you don't know that they're there, if you're not using the orb to protect yourself. On top of that, like I've said in my other defensive videos and tutorials, your most valuable asset as a defender is honestly your life and your ability to survive. So honestly, your best way to use your poison wall is to stay back and stay alive and wait for the retake. You can use this poison wall during a retake to get the entire backside of the site in your control. If you put this wall up here and then attack the backside of the site with your team, you can trade out any enemies hiding behind the barrier here and get control of the site without any other enemies pushing in to make the fight more difficult. And of course, while all this is going down, don't forget that you can always use your venomous bite to delay or deny any plant potential from the enemy. If you're not at risk of being peeked or swung on out here while they're planting the bomb, you can actually double bounce it off the wall and get it to a spot where it's going to hurt them while planting the bomb. And lastly, for defending the C site on Haven, I want you to take a really passive approach here and kind of let the enemy move into your territory, but make sure that you keep some information. That means that you need to be peeking and checking, but you don't have to actually take fights. The way that I want you to have your toxic wall set up is going across the site while already letting them onto the site. What this is going to do by crossing across to the doorway to garage is going to allow you to put it up, and now with this wall up, you are free to reposition anywhere on the site that you want. You can go back behind this box if you aren't back here already. You can head over to the corner or hide behind the bomb site, and even rotate back into CT spawn to save your own life. Of course, with this setup, that means that you also want to have your poison orb blocking the garage door. This is going to give you the best coverage and safety in case they push through garage very quickly. While attacking the A site, the best I can really do for you is help you isolate fights so that you can take 2-on-1s or 3-on-1s and really trade out kills. Because while attacking, taking trades is a favorable situation because you're going to be able to get it down to a point where you are now defending. And then if you're still being the first to kill and getting traded out, you actually won that round, if you see where I'm coming from. So with that being said, when you are attacking the A site, you also really are at a disadvantage if you're ever stuck inside while trying to throw your smoke wall. The idea is to come along this wall here next to the door and angle, as you can see on my minimap. Make sure you watch the minimap here because this pointer is not that important. It's the minimap that's important, okay? You aim it so that it's just going to the right side of heaven here. I'm going to show you the purpose for that later. It crosses straight across the map and then goes up. You make sure that you activate your wall before you peek, and then you peek with a teammate here, and you can take a 2-on-1 fight against heaven to hopefully be able to at least trade the kill and get yourself pushed onto the site. Once you get onto the site and you get your bomb planted, the best place for your orb is going to be up in heaven. You want to do this because you almost know that an enemy's going to push towards heaven for their retake, and even if it doesn't really stop them, it's going to give them that reduced health while inside of it, so that's going to make sure that you're really making them think twice and not necessarily wanting to go up there. And now finally, let's get to why I want you to throw your wall across this angle here. There is a really good reason to it, and that is that in the post-plant situation, when you know you're getting pushed on really hard and you kind of just have to go to your last resort, you can pop up this wall right here, and you actually have full control over the long area and both these corners that you can hide in without the enemy knowing that you're here. And this is definitely going to put both a bigger timer on the enemy and a lot of pressure on them and making it difficult to get the kill on you. So when it comes to attacking the B site on Haven, there's honestly not really a lot I can tell you. To be completely fair, yes, you can use your wall to cross across either direction on the site, and that'll get you into the site. And these are really good options because they're actually extremely helpful post-plant as well. So definitely doing this, you won't get any judgment because it's going to block out these doorways and force the enemy to rotate a certain direction and not allow them onto the back of the site if you do this. So I like them a lot, but honestly, my best suggestion I can give to you if you don't have your ultimate is extremely cheese tactic. And that is to make sure that you have your orb in this doorway here and make sure that you're watching your default plant location. If you're hiding just outside the doorway here, what you can do is wait for the enemy to push up and start getting closer to the bomb. Now, right before they come to peek through the doorway and make sure that these sides are clear, because they're really likely to do that if they're competent players, I want you to pop open your smoke orb just like this, and you're going to end up inside of it. The nice thing is that you don't take damage while inside of it and can just sit in here and easily pop a snake bite out onto the bomb plant locations if that's what they go do, is try and defuse. So yes, the tactic is extremely cheese, but it does work really well, especially in clutch situations. Okay, so you're attacking the C site as Viper. You crazy son of a gun. As you can see, I've already laid out my Viper wall. You can see along the map, I walk right up to this point here and look basically straight up. When I set out this wall, I set it to go across the site on purpose. Yes, this leaves the left side open so that you can be peeked from and maybe have to fight that left side, but the all-important right side, or where the boxes are on the site, is what really matters, because that's most of the time where oppers are going to be peeking from. And oppers love to peek C long because you're like fish in a barrel down here. You're really stuck with no cover to hide behind. So the real strong point of this wall, as you can see when I lift it up here, is that it allows you to push all the way down C long and get onto the actual site itself and find cover and good spots to fight from. Whereas the majority of different smokes that people set up are far too shallow and actually force you to either walk through your own wall or just don't get you fully onto the site, which is a big no-no for attacking. You want to get the spike down. That's pretty obvious. It's implied, right? So if you stand kind of close to this wall, just a step out from it in C lobby, you can see where I'm at here. It's not really a well-markable spot, but you can get to it. And then look pretty high along this line here. I generally look about this second leaf, and then throw your smoke orb in this line. You can see that it lands almost perfectly if we line up our smoke wall as well, down the line just like we had it before. That this smoke wall plus orb combo gives you almost a perfect approach to the site without any potential enemy vision lines. The biggest problem here is that, as you can tell, you have to run it down to the site because you run out of poison so fast using both of your abilities. But that being said, it is still an amazing tool to use on the attack and definitely gives you a lot of cover coming from a single agent. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it and hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see my post-plant ultimate locations that I do have a video up for that I'll put a card up in the corner for. Otherwise, that's fine. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below, and I'll see you guys next time.